Good morning, football fans. We're back here at a fireside chat with my friend here, Mr. Tony Parlay, and we're back for another QB analysis. This time we're going to be looking at week 6 here in the NFL. So, Mr. Tony Parlay, welcome. How are you doing this morning?
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for having me in this warm fireside chat. Happy to break down some quarterbacks here.
Totally realistic, totally have a legit fire going on right now. Very warm, and yeah, digging the vibes out here this morning. So, Tony, who do you have for your number one QB from week 6 that you want to throw into your analysis?
Well, last week was MVP edition, so I thought I'd go ahead and flip it. This week, we're going to go ahead and do rookie edition. The first quarterback I want to go ahead and talk about is going to be Justin Fields. I was very high on Justin Fields coming out of Ohio State. I thought the Bears would be very high on him, considering they traded a first-round pick, moved up in the draft to go ahead and get him. Ryan Pace really hasn't had the best track record with selecting quarterbacks, the whole Mitch Trubisky over Pat Mahomes debacle. But they went ahead and made the move. Then they got Justin Fields, but it didn't really seem like Matt Nagy was on the same page, and he was just, we're starting Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton's QB1. Andy Dalton gets injured. They forced to play Justin Fields in one of the worst game plans I've ever seen for a quarterback in Justin Fields' first start. 9 sacks against the Browns. Didn't really seem like Matt Nagy was on the same page as Ryan Pace, wanting to have Justin Fields be the quarterback of the future there. But once he started to go ahead and force to play him and build a game plan around Justin Fields, you can see that he has all the tools there. He's got the athleticism. He has the arm. He can make the throws. The real knock on Fields coming out of Ohio State was his tendency to hold on to the ball and wait and wait and wait, similar to Ben Roethlisberger in his earlier career, waiting for those receivers to make plays further and further downfield. The Chicago Bears have one of the worst offensive lines in the league, so he really cannot do that in this league. The pass rushers are too good. There's not enough time. So you can see where he kind of relies on his athleticism. He does have 4.4 speed. So I can see why he breaks the pocket and he's trying to make plays with his feet, because that offensive line just isn't giving him the time to make those plays. He is the lowest ranked passer in the league, or the second lowest ranked passer in the league. So I can see that there's definitely a lot of room to go ahead and grow. There's a lot of room for development there. But some of the throws that he makes, I watch him and I'm just like, man, he can do this. These deep throws outside the numbers. He's got probably the best arm strength of any quarterback the Bears have had since Smoking Jay Cutler was roaming the sidelines about a decade ago. So I definitely think there's a lot of hope, and there's a lot of potential there for the Bears to have a quarterback of the future.
I would agree with you. I'd say there is a lot of potential for development, but you also have to take into consideration who's developing him at the moment. I would have to agree with you. It's probably one of the more perplexing developments I've seen since Tua down in Miami. It just completely mismanaged. Doesn't seem quite like they know what they want to do with him. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with Justin Fields. I do have a question for you. Do you think possibly trading for Odell Beckham Jr. helps the Bears and helps Justin Fields? Or do you think that is just too much of a reach for them at the moment?
I would probably say that's too much of a reach. I think that they have the Allen Robinson situation to deal with. He's currently on the last year of his contract. I think they still have Darnell Mooney. They still have like 8 tight ends. So I really think that they got to work on improving that offensive line and giving him some more protection so he can actually progress through the reads to see if he's going to be one of these passers in the league that can win from the pocket.
Well, you know the old NFL saying, if you have 8 tight ends, you have no tight ends. So, Tony, who's your number 2 quarterback that you have for your analysis from week 6?
Number 2 is going to be Trevor Lawrence. Most hyped quarterback coming into the league since Andrew Luck about a decade ago. He was very good at Clemson, 2 national titles, went to another one and lost to Joe Burrow. You can watch him play. You see he has all the tools. He's very smart. He seems to have like an innate sense as when the pass rush is getting there. He's athletic. I mean, he has it all. And then I watched this past weekend against the Dolphins, and it seemed like the game is definitely slowing down for him. He seems a lot more confident. He's getting that poise and that confidence in the pocket. He's able to go ahead and read the field a little bit better, look down. And I just saw, I was like, okay, well, they're not going to lose this game. Like, he is confident now. I feel like he is succeeding despite his surroundings. I'm not really a fan of the coaching staff that Urban Meyer has put around him. Let me take a look here. Darrell Bevel and Brian Schottenheimer are the offensive staff. They have a history in this league. They were the coaching staff in Seattle with Russell Wilson for the past several years. Really watched them go ahead, and it seemed like hold Russell Wilson back. Russell Wilson seemed to have to make everything happen on his own. It wasn't really out of structure. It wasn't really like designed game plans. And I can see Trevor Lawrence is finally starting to put the pieces together and be like, yeah, these guys are not setting me up for success. If these plays are going to happen, these plays are going to be on me. He's making plays out of the pocket. I can really see that his confidence is growing.
All right, and I agree with you on Seattle there. The last decade, it's definitely not a team that you look to for offensive schemes. Basically, their offensive structure has been watch Russell Wilson do what Russell Wilson does best. So, best of luck to Trevor Lawrence. So, my question on this one is, do you see the kind of the development of Trevor Lawrence where they're just gonna, dig in and grind through the season and let him develop as a quarterback, like you said, kind of slow that game down for him in hopes that next season they see some progression out of him? So do you see that as being better than potentially what the Bears are doing with Fields, where it's kind of just they're not sure. It's a pick and choose case by case momentum, it seems, over there.
That is a good question. I'm really not a fan of what either team is doing. I think that the Jags they have Robinson, who seems like a very good running back, but they don't want to use him, and they don't like to use him in the screen game. I just don't know why they don't make it easier for Lawrence. I think that the staff is really just going to let Lawrence make all of his mistakes and hope that he does grow and hope that he does go ahead and make that progress. I mean, they invested the number one overall pick in him for a reason. But I honestly wouldn't be surprised if either of those coaching staffs were gone by the end of the year. So we'll see. We will see what they do. I think the quarterbacks will be there, but I don't have much faith in the coaching staff surrounding them.
That is bold. I do think Urban Meyer most likely survives this season. As for his coaching staff, very debatable at the moment. So let's get to your final QB for week 6 that you did your analysis for. Who is that quarterback?
Mac Jones of the Patriots. Man, I was very skeptical on him coming out of Alabama. I thought he would be pretty similar to Tua. It's very hard to evaluate these quarterbacks because he's surrounded by pretty much an NFL team at the college level. All the skill players got drafted in the first round. Like, the offensive line is all got drafted. I mean, he's just got weapons everywhere, and he's playing against inferior defenses at Bama. So I really was skeptical, but he has definitely shown me something. I can see why there were all these rumors that the Niners traded up to number 3 to go ahead and get him. He's a very, very intelligent quarterback. You can see it when you watch him play as far as his ball placement, where he puts the ball for the receivers to make plays, yards after the catch. I mean, he puts it on the right shoulder, puts it on the left shoulder. He definitely can make the throws. He reads the field very well. He progresses through his reads very well. He's really tough. The past weekend against the Cowboys, I watched him the Randy Gregory sacks come to mind, where he just got absolutely obliterated, pops right back up, ready to go that next play and just throwing bombs downfield. He's very, very accurate. I was very surprised watching him. I was just like, man, this is a quarterback that's going to have a future in this league. Seems like the Patriots have built a great game plan for him, surrounding him with those tight ends. They have a strong running game. They actually know what they're doing in comparison to what Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields are going through. It really seems like the Patriots are going to set up Mac Jones for success. They don't really put him in situations that he's uncomfortable in. He can make all the throws. I mean, it really was impressive watching him play. I was like, man, this is a rookie in like his 6th start. he definitely has a future in this league, and he is much better than Tua. I was so shocked watching him play. I was like, this guy's going to be a quarterback in the league.
I would have to agree with you. I think the Patriots have found their future QB. And in terms of Tua and Mac Jones, wow, we're at a position where we're actually debating Alabama quarterbacks in the league. How times have changed. So I'll ask you this: do you think that Bill Belichick has essentially been known as a terrorizer of rookie QBs? Do you think he's able to kind of intake that ability that he has and say, okay, I know what I do to opposing rookie QBs, so this is what I can do to make it easier for my rookie QB? And it seems to be working for them. I mean, would you say that's kind of what the Patriots are doing and Bill Belichick is doing with Mac Jones at the moment, is taking some insight from what he's done over the past 2 decades to rookie quarterbacks?
I don't know if I would give the credit to Belichick. I think I would give more of the credit to Josh McDaniels. I really feel like Josh McDaniels has been the one to make this decision and set up Mac Jones. I think Bill Belichick is kind of just really focused on the defensive side of the ball. And I really think that Josh McDaniels has been the one to set these game plans up. And he was probably the one that was like, okay, Mac Jones is really smart. He knows what we're going to go ahead and do. He knows game plans. And I think Belichick probably talked to Saban and they probably had that conversation. But I think I would give more of the credit to Josh McDaniels in this one.
So do you think this potentially leads to McDaniels being a head coach in the league, possibly for the Patriots or someone else? Do you think this is kind of his second chance after he essentially blew it with the Colts by walking out on them?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say so. That's a very good assessment. And I think that Belichick wants to leave this league because the longer he's in it and the longer he doesn't have Brady, that divide continues to grow and people start asking those questions. So I could definitely see Bill Belichick just hanging it up and handing it off to Josh McDaniels and being like, okay, you're the new coach of the Patriots. You have Mac Jones. You're good to go. People, please stop comparing me to Brady and please stop asking that question.
Interesting. It'll be yeah, interesting to see what happens in New England, what happens with their coach and their quarterback. All right, Tony, thank you for joining me this morning. Before we leave, tell the folks where they can find you.
You can find me on the Twitterverse at Tony Parlay. I also have some of these thoughts and insights on my website, tonyparlay.com. Go ahead, check it out. It's free. All the picks are there. You can see my thoughts.
All right. Thank you for joining us this morning, Tony Parlay. I'm Chris Billings. We're the Hate Watchmen. This has been Tony's QB Analysis. Check out some of our other shows below. Like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you next week for some more football.